In your prepared statement, you indicate that one reason for dismissal would be the loss of trust or confidence of important local constituencies in law enforcement or government. And I want to ask you whether that played a role in the 8 U.S. attorneys that were dismissed, but I'm particularly interested, quite frankly, in New Mexico and California. And I would appreciate if you could answer that somewhat briefly.
Senator, the reason the 8 U.S. attorneys were put on the list was related to their performance.
My question is related to the concerns of the local political establishment.
I understand. I understand that the 8 were put on the list because of concerns related to their performance. I also understand that I know that at the time the department knew that Congressman Issa and others were very critical of Ms. Lamb. I also have been reminded that the Attorney General received 3 calls from Senator Domenici complaining about Mr. Iglesias, and that the Deputy Attorney General received a call from Senator Domenici complaining about Mr. Iglesias. I'm not sure those things were on my mind when those names were added to the list, but they certainly may have been influential. I know that the department cares about the views of Congress.
Who would be the principal person that you advised you on who should go on the list, who would be responsible for weighing the local political issues?
Well, that wasn't I don't believe that was specifically a consideration. I guess I just wanted to share with you that looking back on this as I sit here today, the department as a whole was aware of those complaints from those members of Congress. No one in the senior DOJ leadership who I was getting input from would be responsible for assessing the views of Congress specifically.
You mentioned in your testimony that I developed and maintained a list that reflected the aggregation of views of these and other departmental officials over a period of almost 2 years. The chairman asked you in the beginning whether you had additional documents. Is this a document that would be available that reflects these different views as it relates to the U.S. attorneys?
It wasn't one document, and it wasn't it was in the context of a sort of a presidential personnel context where I gathered information from various sources.
Did it include political information locally?
I don't remember. No, I don't remember specifically looking for that or receiving that.
How did you arrive at 8 as the number? Could it have been 9? Could it have been 7? Could it have been 15? Was there a specific number you were looking for?
There really wasn't. In fact, in mid-October, after presenting the list to different DOJ officials, I remember asking, let's go back and look at all of the remaining United States attorneys whose 4-year terms have expired, which was another 30 maybe, and see if there are any folks there that ought to be added to the list. And I remember that 4 U.S. attorneys were added to the list at that time, relatively close cases, but ones that we could consider whether it would be beneficial or not to ask them to resign.
Now, you indicate you compiled a list over 2 years, but it's not one document, it's numerous documents. Are those documents available?
I don't personally have control of any documents. I don't work at the Justice Department anymore. I don't think they exist. They were lists that I kept and marked up and then threw away in a new list. So
over 2 years, I'm a little confused. Your testimony says that I developed and maintained a list that reflected the aggregation of views of these and other department officials over a period of almost 2 years. Is that not accurate then?
To be clear, it was not one list that was sustained through the 2 years. It was.
And this list no longer exists?
Senator, what it was, the Executive Office of United States Attorneys prepares a running chart of all the United States attorneys, of when they were appointed, you know, and other U.S. attorneys who are in the pipeline to be appointed or are there on interim appointments. It's a master chart of the U.S. attorneys at that specific time.
But and your statement says that it had aggregation of views related, I assume, to the performance. And my question is whether that exists, and you're indicating it was more note-taking and just so you didn't maintain one consistent list over the period of 2 years.
That's accurate. All I can say is that it wasn't scientific and it wasn't well documented.